Hello, guests. I'm the host, and welcome to the Silent Lounge. So, I am talking about Silent Hill F and why it's an extremely important game to the Silent Hill franchise. This video is not scripted, so I apologize if I ramble too much. I'm definitely going to edit it, so hopefully future me can do us all a favor and cut out the areas in which I just completely go overboard and ramble to oblivion. So I could have just done what other content creators did, which is react to an IGN video or something like that, but instead I kind of wanted to give you guys something different. I didn't want to just react to a video. I wanted to pretty much give you guys my thoughts on the footage that's been floating around YouTube. I want to tell you guys the positive things that I liked about what I've seen so far about Silent Hill F and my overall concerns. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you enjoyed your stay at the Silent Lounge. So I literally just have my notebook opened up and I wrote down some things that I really enjoyed and things that I was concerned about with the new stuff that came out with Silent Hill F. Silent Hill F is coming out in September, so that is 2 months from now, September 25th. And Chronos is also coming out in September, so I'm definitely going to make a video on Chronos, but for now I want to focus on Silent Hill F. So here are some of the positives that I took away from the gameplay footage that you guys are watching right now. So one of the things that I really enjoyed was the environments. The environments look lifelike. And what I mean by that is it looks like it's a real place. It doesn't just look like copy and pasted buildings or huts or villages. It actually looks like a very unique place that has a character. If there's one thing that I love, it is environmental design and environmental storytelling. If you look in these videos and you see how these villages are set up and how condensed and claustrophobic they are, it tells you that it's a small village. It's not like an urban area. It's a rural area. And I have trouble saying rural. See, I have trouble saying that, so I apologize in advance. But, this isn't like the city or a town area like Silent Hill. Silent Hill is kind of like a Twin Peaks-like town, viewed with a Japanese lens. And here, this is just a Japanese village. And they're leaning all in with this Japanese horror. So I really like the claustrophobic areas, the alleyways, and the narrow hallways being very condensed. The sound design is also something that really jumped out at me when I was watching a lot of the gameplay footage. That Japanese chime and twang of the orchestrated music was very pleasing to hear. Also, the creature sound designs sound pretty well to me. Of course, these are just gameplay footage that I'm watching from other people's channel. I have to play the game for myself to know if the sound design is going to be consistently good. But overall, I really do like the sound design of this game. It sounds really good. I kind of want to say that it sounds better than the Silent Hill 2 remake in terms of orchestrated pieces and creature noises. From what I heard, Akira Yamaoka is partially working on the score. I think he's working on the normal world score. Well, there's going to be a new composer for the other world. So very interesting that Konami is trying some new things with this game. So the creature designs are terrifying. I just want to say that straight up. The creature designs they look absolutely terrifying, and I love that. I miss the feeling of being afraid by a creature design in horror games. Silent Hill 2 Remake didn't really do it for me. Resident Evil hasn't done it for me in a while. I haven't been afraid of creature designs since, I think, Resident Evil 7. I could be wrong, but these creatures look terrifying. And just the way that they move is just so unnatural. It's very unique. I haven't seen a horror game have this kind of movement before with the creature designs, because it's just so sudden, and I'm lost for words. So the creature designs are awesome. There's like this mutant starfish that we see in some of the gameplay footage. that's holding a giant knife. I don't know what's the deal with that, but that looks pretty freaking cool. I definitely want to see more of that creature, or if that creature is even killable. I mean, can we even kill that creature? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if it's going to be like a stalker type or something, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. So, one thing that I learned is that this game is definitely going to have weapon durability, meaning that if you have a lead pipe and you're using it frequently, it will break eventually, and you'll have to find a new pipe. I think this is a nice way to balance out the weapons since there is no guns, meaning that you don't have to limit ammo. So this is definitely going to keep the survival horror roots fresh by having breakable melee items just like in Silent Hill 4. Durable weapons is not a new concept in Silent Hill. It's been present in Silent Hill 4, and I believe that's like the only game that actually had durable weapons. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments section below. I haven't played a lot of other Silent Hill games aside from Homecoming and all the games before that. I haven't played any of the newer Silent Hill games other than Silent Hill 2 Remake. That's like the most recent Silent Hill game that I played. So we have the weapon durability being a huge factor. There's also going to be no UI when you're exploring the map. Yes, this is something that I really like, is having UI being as minimal as possible. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with newer games, is that they have like this big bombastic UI and it just takes away more than it gives. I like having minimalistic UI. I want to focus on the setting, the environment, the creatures. I don't need to have health bars in my way. I just want to play the game and pretty much just focus on my combat, my surroundings. I don't need 50 different health bars. I like minimalistic stuff. So as you're exploring the town area or the village area, there's not going to be a UI. Good. I actually enjoy that. One thing that caught my eye was the map. The way that the map looks is very unique compared to any of the other maps I've seen in other survival horror games. It actually looks like a Japanese drawing rather than a grid layout of a map or of an area, since I'm very, very accustomed to Resident Evil maps or even Silent Hill maps where it's just blocks and area and stuff like that. It's the Silent Hill F map design looks pretty good. When she pulls out the map, I really do enjoy seeing this Japanese art style instead of just a generic map of the village. So here are my concerns about Silent Hill F, and I do have a few of them. So my biggest concern is the combat. I'm really concerned that combat is going to be overly complicated, or it's just not going to feel as satisfying to use in the context of the story, because our main protagonist, Hinako, she's just a high schooler. She shouldn't be able to do action movie stuff. So I'm really concerned about how the combat's going to be, because I've heard a lot of people say that it looks like a Souls-like game just by how the combat is. I never played any Souls games or Souls-like games, but I know that that can be a turnoff for some people who just want to have a simple combat experience in survival horror games. So I'm willing to see what it's going to feel like when the time comes, but that's just something I am concerned about, is the combat. Another thing that I'm worried about is that the story is going to try to connect itself with Silent Hill lore. I'm really afraid that they're going to really try very hard to connect this and shoehorn it into the Silent Hill franchise or the quadrilogy of Silent Hill games. I'm afraid they're going to do it and it's going to be in a lazy way or an eye roll kind of way. And I think the less that this game has to do with the quadrilogy of Silent Hill games, the first 4 games, the better. I honestly think that this game is better off being standalone, being its own thing, rather than trying so hard to connect itself to the Silent Hill that we all know and love. The Twin Peaks David Lynchian kind of Silent Hill. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, why is Silent Hill F going to be its own thing? Why couldn't it be a different game? Why is it called Silent Hill? It could have just been called F or something like that. And I'm going to answer that question in a podcast episode later, really later down the line. It's just that for me, I think that there's a lot of potential for Silent Hill to pretty much rebrand itself and expand beyond the town that we know and love. I believe there is a way for Silent Hill to exist beyond the town, and I'm not saying that I'm all for the Silent Hill phenomenon. I think that's a stupid... I honestly think that's just a stupid plot mechanism. I think having Silent Hill be a phenomenon just gets rid of all the mystery of the first 4 games. It's a huge slap in the face to the fans of Silent Hill to just say, oh yeah, it's a phenomenon that just happens to certain people. I don't want that, but I do believe that Silent Hill can exist in other places. And this game, I hope it really delivers with that premise. So the last thing that I'm afraid of is that this game is going to be too much J-horror. It's going to lean too heavily in the J-horror, because previously, with the westernized Silent Hill games, they were too westernized. They didn't have that Japanese lens that the games were viewed from. So I'm a little worried that this game is going to be full-on Japanese horror, Japanese everything, without having that certain aura of Silent Hill. And if this doesn't make any sense, I apologize. What I'm trying to say is that I hope it doesn't become a Japanese horror game that just has Silent Hill in the title. I hope that it can stand on its own to be called a Silent Hill game. So why is Silent Hill F so important? Why does it matter so much for this game to not only be able to pull a huge feat of being a Silent Hill that's set in a completely different place and on a different continent and a different time era than the franchise, but why is it so important for this game to be successful? And to be honest with you, for me, this game is proof that Silent Hill is more than just a place. It's more than just a place that has history. Silent Hill is, for me, Silent Hill was a game series, or is a game series, because it's still going on. Silent Hill has really good stories, human stories. It's very character-driven, whereas Resident Evil is more action-oriented, B-movie horror kind of vibe to it. You know, you don't play a Resident Evil game to be captivated by the story. You play it to have fun. You play it to have a really good experience. Silent Hill, I mean, some people do play it to have fun, but it's a more engaging experience in which the characters are very deep and complex, and it's way more deeper than a Resident Evil or some other horror game like Alien Isolation or Outlast. It scares you on a psychological level, and I believe that Silent Hill can exist outside of the town Silent Hill. Yes, there is a history. Yes, most of the games have taken place in one area, and I feel like because it takes place in one area, the franchise becomes stale. It's very hard to have creative freedom. So with Silent Hill F, I'm seeing a lot of creative freedom being flexed, and it's honestly really cool seeing all this stuff. Sure, it can be its own IP, but for Silent Hill, this is proof that they can do stuff beyond the original 4 games, and we haven't had a game that tried anything different. It's been the same ever since Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 1. A lot of the future entries have tried to be what Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2 has been. The brilliance of Silent Hill 2, the narrative, the characters, how the characters felt real and humanizing, and all this stuff with a psychological horror. We've had Silent Hill Homecoming try to literally do the same thing Silent Hill 2 did, and so is Silent Hill Downpour. We've had games try to emulate Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 1. And with Silent Hill F, it looks like it's going to be a huge breath of fresh air. And that's what I'm hoping for. I really want this game to succeed. And especially since this is done by a studio that is very known for doing mediocre stuff. I don't want to say mediocre stuff. They haven't done anything big. Like, they never had their own big project like Silent Hill F. Most of the games that NeoBards Entertainment has done has been spin-off games for Capcom, like Resistance and what was it? It was Resident Evil, Resistance, and Reverse. And those games were very mediocre. So I'm really hoping that this game can really show off the strengths of the studio, because I want to see more games like this. You know, we need more games that are risky in creative endeavors. I don't want the same thing over and over again. As much as I would love to have a remake of Silent Hill 3 or a remaster or a port of these older games, I would like to have something new. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you enjoyed your stay at the Silent Lounge.